Unless you're an astronaut and watching this video, then you're watching this video somewhere on the planet Earth. And that means that you may have had this thought go through your head before of where is the farthest possible place away from you right now. In other words, how far away could you possibly get from where you are right now before you would start getting closer again? And how could you possibly get to this location if you left right now? The short answer is that the farthest possible place away from you is whatever is on the opposite end of the world from you, around 20,000 kilometers across the Earth's surface. If you somehow dug a tunnel straight down to the other side of the world from where you are right now and emerged out on the other side, you would be, geographically speaking, the farthest away you could possibly be from where you originated from. Such a place is called an antipode, and would be almost as different as where you are now in other ways as well. The time difference would be exactly 12 hours, meaning that whenever it's noon where you are now, it's midnight at this opposite point. The seasons would also be exact opposites, meaning that if it was in the middle of summer where you're at now, it would be the middle of winter at the opposite point. But where would you actually end up if you were to do this? There's a misconception in the United States that if you dug a hole straight down, then you would eventually end up in China, but this isn't the case at all. In fact, nearly the entire United States is directly opposite of the Indian Ocean, meaning that the furthest away point for most Americans is the middle of the ocean. There are a few exceptions to this rule, however, since all of Hawaii is directly opposite of Botswana and Namibia in Africa, and a large part of northern Alaska is opposite of Antarctica. There are also two small patches of land in the state of Colorado that are opposite the two small French islands of Ile Amsterdam and Ile St. Paul, and another small patch of land in the state of Montana that is opposite of the remote Kerguelen Islands. The small town of Rudyard in Montana is the only community in the contiguous 48 US states that is opposite of actual land, with the rest being totally opposite of ocean. The same can also be said for Canada, since most of the country is also opposite of the Indian Ocean. There are some parts of Saskatchewan near Montana that are opposite of the Kerguelen Islands, while a small part of central Saskatchewan and Alberta are opposite of the McDonald Islands and Heard Island that are a part of Australia. Besides these places, a very large portion of northern Canada and the Canadian archipelago is opposite of Antarctica, but other than that, the rest of Canada is opposite of the Indian Ocean. The rest of North America is also entirely opposite of the Indian Ocean, while most of the continent of Europe is entirely opposite of the southern Pacific Ocean. A notable exception to this is Spain and Portugal, who share a significant amount of area that is opposite of New Zealand. So for Spaniards and Portuguese on one side and New Zealanders on the other, they are as geographically separated from one another as you can possibly be. The cities of Madrid and Auckland are almost opposites of each other, being about as far away as cities can possibly get from one another. New Zealand is also directly opposite of the UK territory of Gibraltar and small parts of Morocco, while nearly the rest of Europe is directly opposite of points across the Pacific Ocean. Nearly all of Africa is also opposite of the Pacific Ocean, with only a few notable exceptions being the aforementioned Hawaii and several other small Pacific islands scattered around the continent. The Pacific Ocean itself is so mind-bogglingly huge that there are parts of it off the coast of Peru that are exactly opposite of other parts of the same ocean off the coast of Southeast Asia. That means that if you were in Peru and wanted to cross the Pacific Ocean in a straight line, it would actually be a shorter distance if you traveled in the opposite direction in a straight line to get to the other side of the ocean. In addition, Point Nemo in the Pacific Ocean, which is the furthest away point on Earth from any other humans, is exactly opposite of another extremely remote place in the desert of western Kazakhstan. So if you teleported from either end to the other, you would be in for a pretty lonely time. Australia is the largest landmass in the world whose opposite points are located entirely in an ocean, the North Atlantic. But the island of Borneo in Indonesia is the largest landmass to have opposite points entirely on land inside the Amazon basin in South America between Brazil, Colombia, and Venezuela. In fact, this entire area known as the Malay Archipelago is one of the largest places to have most of their opposite points on land. They're mostly located in South America, so the Philippines is entirely opposite of this area, Malaysia and Singapore are entirely opposite of this area, while huge parts of Indonesia are also opposite of another nearby South American area. The other largest two places on land that are directly opposite of each other is this other region of South America taking up almost all of Chile and Argentina, and this huge area of eastern China and Mongolia. This means that the cities of Taipei in Taiwan and Asuncion in Paraguay are almost exact opposites, as well as Santiago and Xi'an, and Buenos Aires and Beijing. So, what's the best way of traveling from where you are now to your furthest away place? Remember when I said that the distance between any of these 2 points across Earth's surface would be 20,000 kilometers? Well, right now there isn't a single commercial jet that could travel that distance at a full load on a single flight. The closest thing that you could take would be the Boeing 777-200LR, which has the record distance possible of a commercial jet at 17,395 kilometers. But that's still several thousand kilometers short of the distance between any 2 furthest away points. You would need at least 2 flights to get between any of these points, but even then, there's no regular air travel that goes directly from one faraway point to another. The closest to reality trip between any 2 opposite points on the globe would be a flight from Tangier Ibn Battuta Airport in Morocco to Whangarei Aerodrome in New Zealand. The 2 airports are exactly 20,000 kilometers apart from each other, and parts of their actual runways are exact opposite points from one another. Besides the problem of no commercial jet being able to make the trip in a single flight, however, the other problem is that the runway in the New Zealand airport is too short for any current commercial jet to land on, meaning that even if you took 2 flights, you wouldn't be able to land once you arrived at the airport in New Zealand. The best way to get from one point to another would take a lot of planning, but it's still fun to think about how to get to the farthest away point from wherever you're watching this video from now. The entire world map of opposite points looks like this for you to search yourself, with the intersection of landmasses highlighted in green. No matter where you live on this map, it's strange to think about what's going on right now far beneath your feet on the other side of the world. Maybe somebody else is also there wondering the exact same thing right now about the place that you're currently in. So perhaps the only way to know for sure is for you to actually make the farthest possible journey away that you can ever make. Well, the farthest away trip until commercial spaceflight becomes a reality, but until then, whatever point on Earth opposite of you is the farthest away from home that you'll ever be in your entire life. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please leave a comment saying what is on the opposite side of the world from you, and if you enjoyed what you just watched, then I'd like to inform you that I'm currently writing a book that will have content just like this inside of it. All the book content will have 100% new information that I haven't yet discussed in any of my YouTube videos, and it will be coming out later on in this year. I'll make another special announcement once it's finished being written, and in the meantime I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel by clicking here. You can watch some older videos of mine about similar topics by clicking here, and you can visit my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel and receive cool rewards like voting on future video topics by clicking here. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week for another brand new video then.